Thanks, everybody. Welcome to Build. I'm your host, Ricky Camilleri. Our next guest is easily one of the funniest actors around, whether he's partying in Miami with The Rock in a hot tub time machine or in the Children's Hospital on Adult Swim. And now you can see Rob Corddry as the best friend without boundaries on the hilarious new show, The Unicorn. Let's hear it.
Hi.
Mr. Corddry,
Hi.
thanks so much for being here.
Here we are.
Here we are.
Tower Records.
Yes.
Sorta. Used to be.
Right.
Deep cut. Anyway.
Have you had you bought records at this Tower Records?
Oh, well, I bought...
or CDs?
This thing, yeah, compact discs. I don't know if the kids are aware of these things, but they're shiny. And
Circular, spherical.
Spherical.
A hole in the center.
Yep. And that's the whole story with them. Yeah, I bought discs here. I think I might have even stolen some too.
The other story with compact discs that I love is that they garnered billions of dollars for the record industry because they cost less than $1 to make and they were sold for $17 a
That
pop.
was the racket.
That was the racket. Yeah. That's why in the 90s, if you had like half a hit of a song, you were just printing money.
Oh, and then the tide turned the
then the
opposite
tide turned the
direction.
other
And now,
way.
yeah, now no one's making money.
Yeah, now you can be the most successful pop star in the world and be like, I have an East Village sublet.
I know. I just went back to vinyl. I'm just,
Same.
you know, I mean, I need to touch the music again because it's been so long.
It's also nice to, with vinyl, you stop switching around so much. You're just kind of like,
Yeah.
I am going to listen to this album and this artist, and I'm
Right.
going to focus on that.
Yeah, you sit. You're active. You're actively listening. It's
Yeah.
and who knows if it sounds better, whatever.
Yeah, I don't
Who
know.
cares?
I bought a whole system that they said was going to sound better, and I was like, yeah, sure, it sounds great.
Oh yeah, the warmth.
I can hear it. I can hear the pops. This is great.
Yeah.
Tell me about the Unicorn, working with Walton and Michaela and this
Yeah.
show.
Yeah, it's been a great experience. The show itself is about Walton's character is starting after a year after his wife's death. He's starting his second chapter, which includes dating and whatever else happens. So he's really just trying to restart his life and get out there with the help of his four friends and
A lot of help.
yeah, not I mean, these guys haven't been in the game for years too. So there's just a lot of support. And that's it basically. It's like this guy trying to, and he's like, his Walton plays something a lot of people won't be used to this kind of character from him. He's used to playing like
Wild cards.
psychopaths.
Psychopaths.
And this guy is a way more like honest, kind of down to earth.
I'd imagine closer to who Walton the person is.
Yes, very much so. I don't know if you've ever had him on here. He's. I recommend everybody watching at home, here in the audience, interview Walton Goggins someday. Okay.
Just a nice guy.
Just have a blast. Yeah. Yeah. He's just one of these guys that like he leads with his heart. You know what I mean? He called me to do this show, and he was like, I got it, man. Listen. Hey, man. This is what we're gonna do, man. That was actually a pretty good imitation of him for a second. Then I lost it. He said, yeah, this is what we're gonna do, and I had to cut him off halfway through because I was like, well, it doesn't even matter what the show is. I'll do anything you tell me to do.
Did you know him?
Yes.
How did you know him prior to this?
We were friends. I met him through friends of mine and his Leslie Bibb and Sam Rockwell. I did a movie in New Orleans with Leslie and they both, her and Sammy, were like, you've got to meet Walton. Like, you guys will hit it off. We can see the future. And and sure enough, they were right. They were absolutely right.
What do you think it was about you and Walton that made you guys hit it off as buds?
I'm fantastic, and he's wonderful. something like that. Like, I don't know. He's the kind of guy that I don't know. It's hard to like describe that kind of like a chemistry like that you have with a person that may even be chemical, literally. I think he's I feel comfortable with him. You know?
Aw.
Yeah, I just feel comfortable with the guy. I feel like I can open my heart to him. I can say anything. I won't.
Because we are men still.
Because yeah,
we're not
come
going to do that.
Guys, come on,
Absolutely
keep something
not.
safe.
Yeah. And so when he called you up, you guys had already been friends, and he asked you to do the show. I mean, part of doing a show like this, I'd imagine, is making sure that everybody that you're going to be with every day is going to be enjoyable to be around.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, right? So he did, like, he's a producer on the show. He really curated this cast. And when we all got together to shoot the pilot, it's funny because when you're doing a pilot or any type or, any show, movie, whatever, your first couple days with a new cast can be a little awkward. You're having to fake a relationship or a chemistry.
And a whole network pilot setup is kind of difficult as well because there's so many people around sort of checking in and seeing what's happening.
Yeah, it's a weird, stupid job that we do.
It's a lot more high pressure than I think some people know.
Yeah, I mean, I came out of spent the last 10 or so, 15 or so years doing my own stuff on Adult Swim. So I was it's a very corporate environment, and they look at the bottom line, and there's numbers and graphs involved, and
Adult Swim is like, we like your idea. Here's the most amount of money that we could scrounge up. Go try to make it.
Yeah, here's a bell curve based on your. So what was I talking about?
You were talking about shooting the pilot and the cast.
Okay, so this is good. We immediately had chemistry, the group of us. So we didn't have to waste time developing that. We just all immediately got along, and it was and it created sort of this atmosphere on the show, this sort of I don't know what you call it, like a tone, I guess, a rhythm to the show that is very natural and easy. That is kind of, I think, not so common to like network 30-minute comedies. It feels to me more like Parenthood or something, but funnier and more important.
Definitely more important.
And life-saving. Not a lot of people know that.
Yeah.
The show, watching the show will save your life.
Were you had you worked with Michaela before as well? I feel like she's.
Oh yeah.
Has she been on Children's Hospital?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah. Oh, Michaela's been on Children's Hospital. She played Detective Lacey Briggs, Nick Offerman's character's ex-wife who wanted to just have sex with Rob Hugel. So she's a cop as well, and she plays a really disgusting, like kind of, gritty Chicago cop, and she's hilarious as always. And actually, Michaela and I were married before. We were fake married already, in a movie, Lake Bell's movie, In a World.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So
this is kind of like you're just going to work and hanging out with your friends for the most part.
Yeah, exactly right.
Kind of like what Children's Hospital was like, except you're not in charge.
Except I had nothing to do with it.
You get to just show up and hang out, really.
And that's the gig, man.
Yeah.
Enough of this creating and producing stuff. That's hard. There's a lot of work.
Very little work.
That's why it was only an 11-minute show. I was like, who can do this? Who can sustain this for 30 minutes?
Ballers is coming to a close or came to a close?
Came to a close. A week ago. Yeah, last Sunday.
What was it like wrapping that show up?
Well, it was funny. It was an odd season because Dwayne and our characters didn't really. We were in a feud the whole time, so we only shot like 3 days together, as opposed to every single day, which we had done the past season. So it was a very odd one. It was definitely like putting tying a bow around it, but the finale, I think, was really good. I think they did a good job sort of sending these characters off into their fictional reality, and I think it's satisfying.
What was it like for you playing a character like that in a show like that? Because I feel like your comic sensibilities personally probably lean a different way than Ballers in some respect.
Yeah.
But like the audience for Ballers is much different than the audience for Children's Hospital per se, right?
Yeah. That's an understatement. Excuse me. I think. Whereas on one hand you are right that it is definitely a stretch. On the other hand, it's a character archetype that is very familiar to me. This is being sort of like the guy who, the friend of ours that we all have, who can go all weekend hard and still make it to work on Monday without bloodshot eyes and perform. So that was sort of like that was the character, and of course he had an evolution over the series. Like he became sort of more buttoned up and serious as the show stopped being a comedy. Sort of, it was a drama. I found myself doing a drama. I was like, what?
Did you like that?
I loved it.
But how often do you ever get to really do drama?
I've done a couple. I'm not the first call on their list, but I don't think. I started doing Shakespeare. I don't think of it. At least I don't perform it. I don't attack it, the script, any differently.
Right.
It's the same thing to me. You're still just playing moments honestly.
Did you start as a dramatic actor? You started doing Shakespeare, but was your intention initially to be a dramatic actor?
Yes. Very, very dramatic, very important. I don't know if you've ever heard of Romeo and Juliet.
No.
Oh,
No idea.
really?
No, I've never heard. I don't know what that is.
Well, so all right. Start at the beginning. I was
Beginning of drama.
so yes. Homer was this storyteller.
It's called Acts.
It's called the Iliad. Now he I graduated from UMass Amherst.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I'm from East Hampton. I went to Hampshire.
Oh, get out of here!
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
college
cool.
consortium,
Yeah,
baby.
yeah, sure. 5 colleges, man. How many colleges did you guys have?
That's right.
5. 5 alive. We
Go back to the valley at all?
when I can.
Yeah, it's the best.
I went
It's so
back about a
beautiful.
year and a half. It's the best.
Yeah.
But so I was a double major in English and theater.
Wow.
But I was only a major. I also majored in theater only so I could get into the acting classes. I didn't finish the major. I wasn't interested in lighting. Regretfully now, I look back on it like, you should have probably just broadened your horizons a little bit, you jerk. But
There's something about like you don't do like I was like that in college as well, where I was like, no, this is the only thing that I'm interested in. Get out of my way, guys.
yeah, nothing else is important.
And then like 10 years later, I was like, I should have paid attention to all those other things. They could have helped me.
So like I was like lighting class, like every theater major has to take this really difficult lighting class where you hang these things and there's you give a performance as your final exam, and these, there's a lot that goes on with these lights up here, like, and I know nothing about them. So I'm in my office the other day, and I've got like 5 track lighting lights out. So I replaced them, and then I'm trying to point these little hot bulbs to light my room appropriately, and I can't do it. I'm just not going to go into my office anymore until they all burn out. Like
Someone goes in there and is like, Rob, look at the lighting setup.
Well, you don't have any gobos up there or some gels. Just throw up some pink gels. Yeah, I blew it.
So you studied theater at UMass and fashioned yourself somewhat of a dramatic actor?
Well, dramatic, I guess. I had the same attitude I have now, which is like, what is it? I'll do it.
Right.
You know? But Shakespeare, I think, was sort of my love at the time. You know, like my English major was based around English drama, modern and what's the opposite of modern? Old?
Classics.
Ancient?
Classics.
I don't think you're right.
I don't know.
Yeah. So, and I came to New York like the day after I graduated, and then spent a good year or two doing what I thought was very, very important, way off Broadway Shakespeare. I.e. garbage, just complete garbage. Yeah.
You mean in reviews, or like, what do you mean?
Yeah, we didn't get reviewed. Are you kidding me? Maybe
Literally, you're eating garbage because you're not feeding. You have no money to buy
that
food.
too. I mean, the actual performances, our interpretations of these great plays were garbage. Yeah, for the most part. I mean, I don't know. There's a couple bright spots here and there, but and then I got into comedy. I realized Shakespeare doesn't pay the bills.
How did you get into comedy? What happened?
I realized the skill I didn't have that I really needed they didn't teach me at school was how to audition. And so I went out on every audition possible. And now you might say, yeah, that's what actors are supposed to do. But I mean, I was like going out for stuff like, you know, black handicapped woman wanted for this role, you know? And I was like, yep, let me work on that one. You know, so just going over anything, child needed. And then I eventually just started getting good at it, you know, just after, you know, those 10,000 hours of practice, I started booking some stuff. And one of the things I booked was a sketch group called Third Rail Comedy, which was the house sketch group at Gotham Comedy Club. And then I got into that, and then just sort of the world of New York comedy opened up to me, and I found the UCB Theater and sort of gotten on the ground floor in there and worked my way up, and then right at the time that place was becoming sort of a farm team for TV shows. Luckily, you know, that's the only thing I've ever gotten in on the ground floor of my life. Missed punk rock, missed everything fun. Yeah.
Was it from there to the Daily
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, and it was from there to the Daily Show. And
Yeah.
so at that point, you've essentially accepted that you, at this moment in your life, or maybe for the future, are going to be a comedic actor.
Yeah. I realized that when I was doing Shakespeare, for the most part, I was playing jackasses.
Right.
You know, I would be playing the drunks, the mechanicals, those kind of guys. So I realized it was kind of like, oh, this is what you've been doing. And I feel like it's where I should have been.
Yeah, we had someone here yesterday who said, and I never heard anyone say that this business has usually ends up putting people where they should be.
Oh, I like that. I'm going to steal that from whoever that was.
Lizzie Kaplan.
Yeah, I'm going to steal that from her.
Do you feel that way?
Yeah, I think that's a great way to say it.
Yeah.
You know, like people will ask me, "What are your long-term goals from here?" And I'm like, I don't have any
Yeah, I'm the
goals.
same
I'm
way.
just going to feel like my goal is to stay confident in that the universe, or AKA / this business, will put me somewhere. You know.
You are doing a spin-off series of Children's Hospital called A Medical Police?
Called Medical Police.
Can you tell us a little bit about it?
I can. Well, it's on Netflix. It's going to be on Netflix in January sometime. And so this is where Children's Hospital was a 15-minute show that's largely happens in the hospital and very contained and no continuity, just any series continuity or scene to scene. Basically, it was just a joke machine with an absurd tone. This show it keeps the absurd tone, and yet it puts these characters in a sort of like Jason Bourne night manager kind of global medical thriller. So, there's this one story told throughout the entire season, and it's a half an hour long. I've grown up to a half an hour.
Were you nervous going into that when you came up with that idea and pitched it and it got bought and I was like, oh, now we have to make all these episodes and tell a serialized story?
Well, there's always some pressure involved in that, but no, I trust my partners. That I trust that we'll figure it out, because when you book something, when you get something, or when you sell something, then you have to do it.
Right.
It's the version of the show must go on.
It's kind of the best feeling in a way, right? It's like, there's no choice. This is live.
There's no choice but
what are we
to figure this out.
Not do this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it was really fun to figure out and shoot, and we're all finished now, and we're gonna show it to you people soon.
Who's in it?
Oh, well, the whole cast comes back for cameos. They sort of bookend the series, but Rob Hubel and Aaron Hayes play the leads.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we have time for a couple questions from the audience. Who has a question?
So, how was your overall experience working with Dwayne Johnson in Ballers?
My overall experience with working with Dwayne,
Who's Dwayne?
Dwayne Johnson, Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
Oh, yeah. I only know him by
Yeah.
I only know him
You
by
just
Rock.
didn't smell what he was cooking for a second there. Yeah, never gotten that question. Oh, you're a Rock fan.
Yeah, if you can
man.
smell what the Rock is cooking.
Iron Paradise, man. Leg day.
Under Armour.
Working with him is great, man. What did he say? I just read it somewhere. He's like, he puts kindness first, leads with kindness, or, that's his business model, and his life model is just always be kind to people. And so that makes for a pretty great work environment, and he gives great hugs. So,
Jokes?
does he make his own jokes? Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He's the writer of Ballers. He writes everything in Ballers.
Well, he's look, and he knows his way around a joke, but I think you're asking if, like, behind the scenes, like, off camera.
No.
No, you don't care about that stuff. You're like, yeah, we'll improvise a lot. If I throw something out, and usually just to mess with him, he always comes back.
But I'm pretty sure. The jokes about tequila is made by Dwayne Johnson, right?
Yeah, probably. I don't know.
Next question.
Hi.
Hi. So earlier in the interview, you talked about how Walton persuaded you really easily to join the show. And I was wondering, what kind of draws you into a script in general?
That's a good question. Besides just something recognizing a unique story or world, and seeing potential for a tone, and it's really sometimes comes right down to, can I fit these words in my mouth, and if it's tricky, you find that's tricky. Is there some way that around that, and you can, sort of mutate around this thing, but with this show, it feels easy. So I guess that's the ultimate answer. It should feel pretty easy,
Thank you.
How often do you find that it's the people you're going to be working with as well?
What's that?
How often do you find that it's the people you're going to be working with as well that really leads to saying yes or no?
Yeah, man. And I always, my policy is just don't work with dicks. Yeah. Do good stuff with people who aren't dicks. Yeah. And I'm
sure every now and then you find yourself caught up in something and you're like, next job's going to be with friends.
I mean, yeah, sure. It's so funny. Like, I think that kind of, I don't know, that added, that general, moving through this business with that general attitude, and trying to be kind to everyone, and to foster a good attitude, and environment on set. Like, I don't know, I've had very few, like, classic celebrity stories of, don't meet your heroes. Like, oh, this guy's a jerk. Like, I've been very lucky. Right. Most of them are pretty cool. And
When we get off stage, I'm going to ask you who wasn't.
oh, I'll tell you.
Off stage.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. You probably pretty easy to figure out.
Yeah, I mean, there's
Check
like,
my IMDb page and be
Right,
like,
that's
oh
what
yeah, I heard that guy.
there's like about 5 of them overall that I think are
Yeah.
very well known. And if I went through her IMDb page, I'd be like,
yeah.
there we
I
go.
can think of
There
2 right now that I actually like, but they're they're a handful, bit of a handful.
Well, sometimes if you don't have to really deal with the full hand or the handful yourself,
yeah.
you can kind of sit back and be like, this is a hilarious person.
Somebody else's handful. Yeah, right. Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
I mean, I forgot who I was talking to one time, but they were talking about a star who wasn't necessarily a handful, but they were saying he is as crazy as you think. But why do you get into this business if you don't want to be around something like that every now and then? It's inspiring and fun.
Yeah. Well, people get into this for a lot of different reasons, and sometimes it's because they just see poetry everywhere. You know what I mean? And that's awesome, man. Yeah. That's awesome. That's the way to be. But like, all the time, that guy will wears on you.
You're like, it's just a simple yes or no question, sir.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rob, so much fun to talk to you. Thank you so much for being here.
This was a blast.
The
man.
Unicorn
Thank you.
is on CBS. Which nights?
Thursday nights, 8:30.
Thursday nights, 8:30.
Young Sheldon.
And Medical Police
They
is
make
coming.
me say it like that. I don't know why. Young Sheldon. I'm under contract too. I can't.
I didn't know it was supposed to like. I thought it was Young Sheldon.
Right. Well, I can't. I wish how I could even say I'm allowed to say how I thought it was, but I'm not. I'm only allowed to go Young Sheldon on CBS.
And Medical Police is in January, right? Okay.
Yep.
I forgot if we were allowed to say that or not.
Date to be
TBD.
determined. Yes.
TBD.
Or to be told. I don't know. Who knows, man.
Rob
Netflix is a whole other thing.
Rob Corddry, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.